Another week in the books. I did 97.35 miles this week, or 157K. So that roughly breaks down into, I think, 3 miles of swimming, 75 on the bike, and then about 19 running. And some of these longer sessions this week were just, I guess we were under a heat advisory and I didn't put two and two together. So we did a couple runs. We did a brick workout in a heat session and then a long run in a heat session. So that was pretty crazy. I think we're running somewhere around 32 to 34 Celsius. So somewhere between 90 and 98 degrees with like a peak of 37 or 38. So about 100, which I just wasn't prepared for. So yeah, it was a good week. Sometimes you got to break through those. And then you should just see at the end of this video how much weight I lost on the long run doing that in the middle of the day because I'm just not good at planning. Monday. Swim. This I think will be our longest single swim session so far. So about 3,300 yards is what we're going to do with a couple 400s and 200s mixed in. So I'm kind of excited to do and see the growth here. So let's hop into that and see how I feel afterwards. At 11 a.m. on Saturday. I have a 3-hour, 15-minute bike ride with a couple efforts in the middle, maybe 10 minutes at zone 3, and then the first official brick. So I've been running after the bike, but this is the first official one on training. I don't know why I started so late, but that'll be fine. I guess I really filmed much this week. That's one. My swim on Monday is the longest I've swam, so did about 2 miles, and that felt great, super smooth. That's 2. Really happy with that swim performance. And then Thursday, I did another swim, and I don't know, humbles you real quick. When you're doing bad in the swim, it's the worst possible of the 3 workouts, because it's just you and your thoughts, which is dark. This is 4. And you know you're swimming bad, you know your form is bad, you're looking at your times and they're bad. And that's where I think you build a lot of the mental toughness on the swim. So I wasn't too stoked about that. But I finished it at the end, just focused on the last 400 meters, staying just really true to form for, this is 5, I hope. So that was fine. I did a run. Run was good. Sprint workout's always super smooth. 6. And then did some bike efforts, right? 7. And so now I'm trying something new with my fueling, I guess. Each of these bottles has about 7 or 8 scoops of scratch. As you know, that's 400 calories and 100 carbs roughly. So with 7, I'm doing about 90 grams of carbs. That makes like each of these bottles, I think roughly like $4, $4.50, which is pretty expensive. So I might try something different. But in the past, what I was doing is I was doing purely a carb bottle and then an electrolyte bottle. So every hour, I was doing about 44 to 50 ounces, 60 ounces of fluid an hour, which is quite a bit. I'd have to get off the bike every hour and refuel because I just don't have enough bottles. So now what I'm doing is doing the carb mix and then doing a scoop of electrolytes to put inside of there, combining both. And so that way the fluid on the indoor trainer, it's a little less, a little bit easier off the run. Because I figure on the bike, if I can pack most of my nutrition on the bike, then I can just grab water from the aid stations. Since they don't have a carb mix, I'll at least be able to get water or extra electrolytes if needed. And so we're going to test that out today, see how it feels, see how my stomach feels. And this is what it looks like. Here's a scratch bottle. As you can see, roughly this top part, that's all the mix. That's all the water. I'll add water to you to show, like, you can kind of see down here how it turns into this like kind of gelish, thick substance. So I'm gonna fill this up. We're gonna stretch, get on the bike. Update. So I just put more water into it, as you can see. You can see how it just like oil and water. It doesn't mix until you shake it. So it's pretty thick. Stretching is done. I'll show you what my final fuel setup looks like. 3 bottles of 90 to 100 grams of carbs, 400 calories, and then some waters. I'll do that every hour, space in some water throughout that, and then we'll check in about an hour on how I plan to change the fueling strategy, just because that's, $5 a bottle, and I'm doing this, I think I have 19 more long rides, including today, so cha-ching, cha-ching, but we'll check in after the first hour. The goal here is to do, think of it 3 hours and 15 minutes. I can do 65 miles. 60 to 65, I'll be happy. I really don't want to do this workout. I was out till like maybe 2 a.m. with comedy last night, so just tired, but I'll see you in an hour. Okay, we're an hour in. The new fueling setup, it's going fine. I think what I want to try is switching to Formula 369. I think the price per bottle is just substantially cheaper, same amount of nutrition, and ultimately, none of it's gonna taste great. So if I can do something that gives me much more for my remaining trainings without putting more money down and then using that money to get a helmet, a float buoy, etc., that's what we'll do. But right now we're at about 225 watts and about to start that threshold at 10 minutes here in a couple minutes. Doing the thresholds. Look at this mileage. 188. I'm sitting at 28. That is incredible. All right, finishing up. Here's where we landed. About 60 miles, 3 hours, 15 feet, 1,700 feet of elevation. Obviously, wattage kind of rose and peaked to thresholds and then declined, so probably would have hit 65, 63, holding consistent speed, but final 30 seconds, gonna take about 3 minutes change and hit a 20-minute run. And there you have it, brick run, 20 minutes. Wow, really inappropriate looking salt there. Yeah, just did 20 minutes, 2.4 miles, and I was sweating a whole lot on the bike. Stepped outside, instantly dried. It's 93 degrees. So let me quickly look and see what that is in Celsius. So for those using the metric system or Celsius system, I don't know, that's 34.5 degrees. So did it to myself. Did the bike ride leading into the hottest part of the day, but feeling really good. Really had to grind through the bike, but sometimes that's what you need from an exercise. Definitely feel like I earned it. Felt like it was a great workout. I dreaded it while I was doing it, but hey, one brick by one brick, 19 long sessions left. Tomorrow we got an hour 40 run, so hopefully I can get up early and do that before another 93 or 34.5 degrees Celsius day. All right, it's 11:30. It's 91 degrees, so probably close to 34 Celsius. Don't know why I keep doing this, but got an hour 40. Be interesting because I don't usually bring water sub 2 hours, so might be a bad choice, but got 2 gels. We'll take those about 45 minutes apart, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe about 11 miles is my guess, but it's hot, so it might be a little bit slower pace preserve the body, but let's start the run. 1 mile in, 9:04. It's hot. I'm in trouble. Lap 2, 8:55. It's not gotten any cooler. 3rd mile, 9 minutes. I think we're finding a rhythm, but I don't usually sweat on runs, and so this one is different. All right, 3.9 miles in, 35 minutes. Gonna do, I guess I burned 500 calories, that's what my watch is saying. And this is 100 calories and 24 carbs, so not the greatest, and it's warm. But the taste is still better than Morton, so we're gonna keep it pushing. All right, 5 miles, 9:30. Definitely slowing down, feeling the heat. All right, took a quick stop. Water fountain. Could be dangerous, but I'm willing to throw up for it, I guess. Mile 5. I don't know. 9:24. Keep it pushing. 7 miles in. Let's see. I don't know. My watch is blocked right now, but 7 miles in. Maybe like 35 minutes to go. So feeling better. Mile 5 and 6, a little rough, but hit 7. Feeling good, finding rhythm and shade. 7.7 miles in, second gel. Found a little seat to take a rest, listen to the body. But you do realize at a certain point, like, it gets easier because no one cares. Right? You do all this training, it's just for you. As soon as you realize, like, you're just doing it for you, it comes a lot easier. So about 30 minutes left. See if we can hit to 10, but I think it's 96 degrees now, so it's gone up about 5 whole degrees on this run. Ooh, look at that sweat. All right, finish the run. Hour 40, 10.8 miles, so probably would have hit 11, if not maybe more, if it was cooler, but started the run at, I don't know, felt like 90 degrees, which is 33 degrees Celsius, but now it says it feels like 102, so 37 or 38 Celsius. So sometimes it's good to bonk. Like, you got to know where your limit was. Sometimes you just got to find your limit and push through it, because that'll make the hard parts easier in the future. Really, Ironman comes down to the training. If you can prepare for every scenario, you're more than likely setting yourself up for success. Yeah, still things can happen, but boy, oh boy, that was hot. I was 206 pounds before we started this, so I'm going to weigh in once I cool down and see how much weight I lost, if any. Final tally after the run, settled at 8. It was 206 pounds a little under 24 hours ago, and I weighed in at 198. So, I don't know, lost a lot of water weight, I guess. Gonna try to avoid to do that next time, but pretty crazy weight drop. I haven't been under 200 pounds, where I think that might be 90 kilos, 91 kilos, I don't know, since I started training. So pretty big weight drop. We'll see what we look like next week, but wow, a lot of weight.